Okay, so I'd like to start this off with hear me loud and clear. My name is Marcella. I'm 31 years old. I'm currently a college student. I'm also a mental health worker. So I work with a lot of children ages 5 to 18 who are in psychiatric mental health crisis. I think it's interesting. I see these quotes up here this morning and they apply to so many different aspects of my life. So Mr. Booker asked me to come here today and to talk about the importance of finding your voice in life. And so I'm going to go through a couple different phases and stages of my life where I found my voice, I lost my voice, I found my voice, I empowered other people to find their voices. And then how did that all come to me standing here in front of you? How did all that come to fruition? So really, really interesting. You guys say the snake, the rat, the cat, the dog. How are you going to see them when you're living in the fog? Each and every one of those animals, aka people in our lives, are going to help you to find your voice. The snake is going to teach you about who you are, who you're not, more importantly. Who are you not? Who do you not want to be? You definitely don't want to be a snake, I promise you that. The rat, you guys definitely define that as the snitch. Well, nobody likes the snitch either. So the rat is going to teach you what information you should keep to yourself versus what you should share. A lot of the times we learn the hard way that oversharing is not beneficial. You share too much, then you have the rat and the snake who decide they're going to come by and they're going to take that oversharing, all of that information, and they're going to run with it. They're going to tell your business, lesson learned. So where do you find your voice in that? You learn to tone it down, to say less, so that when you do speak, you've got something to say that people actually want to listen to, and it's not just a bunch of jibber jabber that nobody cares about. It's not just gossip. It's not about your personal life to somebody who can't wait to go and tell your business to somebody else. The cat, the curious cat. Well, it's funny because the cat and the rat can look a lot alike. That curious cat can turn out to be a rat. So I'm curious. What's your name?
Sorrel.
Sorrel. How old are you, Sorrel?
I'm 19.
19? Okay. So
Maybe we should be taking notes.
okay. Sorrel, you're 19 years old. Sorrel, do you have a boyfriend?
No.
No. When's the last time you had one?
March.
Do you have any kids?
No.
No. Why did your last relationship end? Right then and right there, you wouldn't share with me. See how you just got a little timid? Yes. You wouldn't know if I was being a curious cat, or am I going to take that and turn around and say, hey, girl, you won't believe what I just heard about Sorrel and why her last relationship ended? See, and there's no drugs here, but seeing through that fog, understanding that you don't know me from a can of paint at all whatsoever. You don't know what I would do with that information. So being able to recognize that you're not sure whether I'm a snake, a cat, a rat, or a dog. I tend to be more of a dog, if anything, in the terms of the best friend. And the dog, they're going to be there to support you, to help you find your voice, to uplift you in times when you feel super low, you feel really, really down. When I was a teenager, I went through several stages of depression. I also have ADHD. I was only diagnosed 4 years ago. So that was really tough. So Mr. Booker talks about when I went and I found him at Three Rivers Community College, which is currently where I'm enrolled. And I said, Mr. Booker, I can't wait to get into school. I'm so excited about this, but I wasn't ready. I knew that if I went to class, I wasn't going to focus. I was an ABC student, and all of that depended on how well I did that semester. So, or that quarter, high school, that quarter. If I was doing really, really well and I was on top of my game and I was able to focus, I was an AB student. If I was struggling and I had some really tough times, well, then I was like a CD student. So today I actually brought with me, as a reminder to myself, this is a very small sample of the papers that my mother kept from when I was in school. And as I was going through this stack the other day, trying to come up with some kind of a concept as to what I was going to say to you guys when I came in here, I came across the 8th grade trip that we have. It was a trip to Philadelphia, and attached to it was one of those pink little memo papers that gave the reasons as to why I was kicked off that trip and not allowed to go. embarrassing. Sure, Mom, I'm sure you were so proud of me. Getting kicked off this trip, teachers calling, memos being written about what my conduct looked like. Too social out in the hallways, can't stay in the classroom, she's constantly in and out and in and out and in and out. Yeah, it was me. I was social and I was incredibly impulsive, but it all comes back to having ADHD, having to deal with depression. For those of you that don't know, ADHD comes with a whole lot of anxiety and a whole lot of frustration. And if you don't have meds to help manage that, if you don't have a strong support system, somebody that will hear you when you speak, listen to you, if you don't have that voice to say, these are my needs, these are my challenges, this is what I need in life, you end up failing like I did. So, long story short, kind of moving on with this, I went and I got help from a doctor. I got put on medication, maintained a 3.75 GPA in college, and then this past spring, I had a whole lot of things happen. They say, Mercury was in retrograde. You couldn't convince me that that does not affect people's lives. I had an incredibly strong support system, but I had to find my voice. At 31 years old, I thought that I had found it. I thought that, okay, I know who I am, I know where I'm going, I know who I'm going to be, and I have a very, very strong sense of self. A very strong sense of self. That is a large component of finding your voice. The importance in finding your voice is knowing who you are and where you're going to go. But this past spring, I had a lot happen. I had someone who was very near and dear to my heart pass away, a very young person who taught me a lot about who I am, where I want to go, and how I want to continue to affect the lives of young people. Well, she got killed, and I was devastated. I got moved to another facility within my job, which is pretty normal for me, but that came with its own set of challenges. When I say challenges, I mean real challenges. Accepting things that I could not control, trying to manage and deal with that, gain a new support system, find out, okay, strengths, weaknesses, what am I doing here? Literally found myself gripping my hair like this and saying, oh my God, I can't do this. I'm very good at my job. I'm very good at my job. Any of my coworkers will tell you, Marcel is a very strong mental health worker. I was losing it, and I was losing it fast. I had relationship problems. Headed downhill really quick. Hit another stage of depression. Lost my voice. I felt like I was talking, but nobody was listening. I had so much to say, and I had so many questions, and I had nobody there to answer them. I had nobody that was listening. I lost my voice. What do you do in an instance where you feel like you've hit rock bottom? You don't have that power anymore. So I can sit here and I can say to you, I need you to listen to what I'm saying right now. I need you to hear me. I need you to hear me. I've got a lot going on, and I need you to understand where I'm coming from. I need you to help me, guide me, give me some advice. But you don't hear me. I've lost my voice. So you find a new support system. If I call you tomorrow and I say I'm having a really, really, really tough day and I'm having some really bad thoughts, are you going to listen? Would you answer your phone? We all know people who struggle with mental health problems. Everyone in here knows somebody who does. Everyone knows somebody who has a really, really, really bad day and doesn't know where to turn. So those are the people that I called. These are the people that I reached out to. One of these two young ladies who's sitting here with me today, who came up here with me today, she was part of my support system. We've been friends since we were in the 3rd grade, and I had to call her. This is what's going on. I know you don't understand my job and the dynamics of it, but I'm drowning right now. I am drowning. Help me. So strength from there. I saw my doctor, had to pull some strength from there. Went and talked to the leaders at my job, had to pull some strength from there. Needed what we call supervision. Tell me how I'm going to make it through this. And I found my voice again. So I do these workshops. This is something that I had created and come up with on my own terms after I saw that there was a very, very strong need for young people to be heard. I'm a strong believer in the power of being heard. So when you're not being heard, you feel like people are muting you, and it can do a number to your mental stability. So in particular, the people that I work with, young people, the teenagers, they just so happen to be like the strongest groups that I can run. I tend to be teenagers. And I started this workshop called Hear Me Loud and Clear. And I formatted that so that I would stand on the soapbox. I stand on the soapbox for about 2 minutes, and I give my all. I say, this is who I am, this is what I do. I need you to understand this, and this about me. And then I go through the crowd and I say, what did you just learn about me? What did you understand? Was I clear? Was I concise? And they say yes. Okay, so then now this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna turn this around. You're gonna identify someone or a group of people who you don't communicate effectively with. They just don't understand something about you. What's your name? Maureen. Hi, Maureen. Good morning. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Maureen, I'm going to put you on the spot right now. What is something that people don't understand about you that you seem to find, it's like, you know what, I wish you would just get this one thing about me? I'm going to come back to you, Maureen.
Sorry.
Anybody have anything? Something that is commonly not understood about you. Are you black and white? What's your cultural background?
I'm Puerto Rican.
You're Puerto Rican? Do people ask you if you're black and white sometimes?
Yeah.
Yeah, so common misunderstanding, right? Maybe that irritates you beyond belief. Maybe you're just like, you know what? I'm Rican and I stand here proud and I represent Puerto Rico, I represent my family. You have very, very strong family values. It's part of the culture. So maybe that really upsets you. Maybe that's something that you would create this soapbox moment when you would tell people, hear me loud and clear. And that gives you the opportunity to have a voice, to stand up and say, this is who I am, this is what I stand for. Hear me loud and clear. For me, I tend to like to talk about the ADHD and the mental health component. I feel like too many people shy away from mental health. So I'll tell you guys, hear me loud and clear. My name is Marcella, I'm 31 years old and I have ADHD. ADHD does not define who I am. I'm not crazy. I'm not psycho, I'm not nuts. Some mornings, I'm a complete mess. These two ladies right here came in and they saw me a complete mess this morning. I knew what I was going to wear, thank God. But I'm running here, I'm running there, I'm running here, I'm running there. Couldn't focus on anything. Part of that was also being a little nervous about coming in front of you guys. But I was kind of all over the place. That was my ADHD. My meds hadn't kicked in yet. Some mornings, I will have a legit meltdown. Decision making is not going to happen. These pants don't fit right. They don't feel right with this shirt. It just doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right. And I can cry, literally cry, and just listen to that voice inside that's saying, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Find your voice. Again, find it, find it, find it. Okay, if this voice says put on a loose white t-shirt, throw on the jeans, go ahead and put on your chucks and get out of the house. And I will literally tell myself, get out of the house. That tends to work. That's where I found listening to that voice was so important. I don't like it when people ignore the signs around them that say, this person needs help. Or when you ignore that inner voice that says, you need help. No, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. Too many times we don't listen to that voice inside that says something's wrong, something's not right. Listening to that intuition. It's vital that you listen to that inner voice. Your subconscious truly does know what is best for you. Truly. For me, identifying my flaws, my challenges, where I tend to fall short, that was a really big part in finding my voice. I was bullied a lot. I got made fun of a lot when I was a young person, teenage years, and I felt like nobody was listening. Just a quick show of hands, anybody in here who has ever been speaking to someone, having a conversation, you kind of feel like you start to ramble, and then that person just decides that they're not paying attention to you anymore? Just a show of hands, anybody that ever happened to? To me, that's one of the worst feelings in the world, is once again, I'm not being heard. I had something that I had to say. I had something that I wanted to talk to you about. This was important to me. And I used to let that, I would get so down about that, like, I'm not important enough for you to just give me 3 minutes of your time. I have someone that I work with very closely who does that pretty frequently, literally in the middle of a sentence, and she just turns and goes, well, first of all, you want to say, that's rude. But there are other ways to say things and do things. So what did I do? I listened to my inner voice. My inner voice said to me, not everyone should hear what you have to say. What I've got is not for everybody. If you're not going to receive what I'm going to say, I know that you're not going to receive what I'm going to say, and I know that it's important. I know that maybe you'll get something out of that maybe you'll learn something from me, that maybe you'll find a connection with me that you haven't found with anyone else, and maybe that'll just alleviate a little bit of the anxiety and the stress throughout your day. I can connect with you. But if I already know that you're not going to listen to anything that I have to say, I listen to my inner voice who says, I'm simply not going to give you my time. I'll be courteous. I'll be respectful. If you have something to say, a question to ask, I'll respond accordingly, no problem. But when it comes to the stuff that's in here, what I think is important, what I find really counts, I'll listen to my inner voice, and my inner voice says, that's not for you. That's not for you. Be selective, be choosy. When you're selective and you're choosy, it's really easy to identify the snake, the rat, the cat, and the dog. Super easy to do that. But you have to be able to listen to that inner voice. What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? Are you telling me to stop talking to these people so many times? A week and a half ago, a friend who's very, very close to me, she's very into astrology, and she's amazing at reading people. And she says to me, you're about to embark on a journey. Not everybody is going to be a part of this journey. Not everybody is going to understand where you're going, how you're going to get there, and why this is your purpose. So interesting, I kind of tested that theory. I found out that I was coming to speak to you guys, and I put that out there, just to a couple of people, threw that out there. Some people, oh my God, Marks, that is amazing, that's great, I am so proud of you, like you're really living your dream right now, you're doing it. And not listening to that inner voice that said not everybody deserves all that you have to say. Well, with that I got, oh, that's great. Listening to that inner voice. You don't get that. You don't get that anymore. You don't get that anymore. My net worth is my net worth. So understand, if you're not adding to that, meaning, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. My girls who came here and said, I support you in what you do. You need somebody to put that on your feed? I got you, no problem. You are adding to my net worth, being part of my net worth. Those people who say, oh, that's great. You're kind of taking away from that joy and that excitement. You're taking away. You can't have that. You can't have that. Another important thing that I also wanted to bring to your attention, I know that in the last year or two, there's been a whole lot of talk about self-care and meditation and mindfulness. When you're looking for that inner voice that allows you to stand up in front of people, say what you mean what you say, grab the attention of the people that you're speaking to, make those connections, taking time out for yourself is imperative. It is not negotiable. It is something that you must do. I don't care if you're taking 5 minutes to sit down and just be quiet, put on white noise, drown out the world. You do whatever you have to do that makes you feel good. There's a saying that goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. My cup runneth over only when full. What is in my cup is for me. That's mine. You can't have none. You can't have none. You can't have any. You can't have any. You can't have any. What's in my cup is for me and me only. Now what spills out Raise your hand if you're thirsty, and I kid you not, I'll give everybody a little bit of anything that pours out. But what's in that cup is for me. Inside that cup, I find my voice. I find my self-confidence. I maintain my self-esteem, my sanity, my mental health, my happiness, my ability to get up every day and say, today's gonna be a wonderful day. Today is going to be a wonderful day. I'm gonna learn, I'm going to empower, I'm going to inspire. It's all in that cup. And that's for me. Because if I give you some of that, and I give you some of that, and I give you some of that, before you know it, I have nothing left to give. I have nothing there for me. There's nothing inside. I'm now empty. I find my voice by filling that cup, constantly filling that cup. Today, my cup runs over. I'm able to come here and speak to you guys. Hopefully breathe some life into you so that you guys are just as comfortable as I am standing here talking in front of a bunch of people that you don't know. It can be scary. It can be nerve-wracking, all of the above. But I do this, I stand here because I want you guys to know that if you haven't found that voice, find it. This is how you find it. Fill that cup. If you have found your voice, you may be like me where you do a million things throughout your day and you're go, 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 go. If I look at your planner right now, it's full of all kinds of different things and activities and volunteering. Maintain your cup. If you have found your voice, maintain it. You don't keep your voice if you let your cup flow out, if you're giving from that cup. Public speaking is, it's my forte. I love doing this. I love sharing, I love connecting. Sharing my story about how I felt like I was muted and people didn't want to listen and they didn't understand. And then saying, you know what, that's just not for everybody. But I get invited to a place like this where you guys want to hear what I have to say. The only time that I don't have connections with eyes is when you guys are writing. Thank you for that. Thank you. It's an amazing feeling to stand here and say, hear me loud and clear, and know that you guys have just heard me loud and clear. I thank you so much for your time and best of luck this semester. Thank you.